Remember when you thought that earning $50,000 a year would solve all your money problems? That once you hit that number, you'd finally feel financially secure, save easily, and stop stressing about bills? Yeah. A lot of people reach $50,000 and discover something surprising. Their financial problems didn't magically disappear. In fact, for many people, things got more complicated. Did you know that according to recent data, households earning between $50,000 and $75,000 are just as likely to live paycheck to paycheck as those earning under $50,000? That's shocking, right? But here's what's even more interesting. People who successfully use the $50,000 milestone as a financial turning point end up in a completely different place than those who just let lifestyle inflation take over. The $50,000 salary isn't an arrival point, it's a crossroads. And the choices you make when you reach it determine whether your financial life gets better or just gets more expensive. And if you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss out on the valuable insights we share in our future videos. What I'm about to share isn't the usual congratulations on your raise fluff. This is the real talk about what actually changes at $50,000, the traps people fall into, and how to make this income level work for you instead of against you. Let's start with the first major change, the tax reality check. Here's something that catches almost everyone off guard when they reach $50,000. Taxes hit differently at this income level. When you were earning $35,000 or $40,000, taxes took a bite, but it felt manageable. At $50,000, you're about to discover just how much of your income doesn't actually make it to your bank account. Let's do some real math here. If you're single and earning $50,000 annually, your take-home pay after federal taxes, state taxes, depending on where you live, Social Security, and Medicare is probably around $38,000 to $41,000. That's roughly $3,200 to $3,400 monthly, not the $4,166 that $50,000 divided by 12 would suggest. This is the first reality check. That $50,000 salary sounds like a huge jump from $40,000. But it's only adding about $600 to $800 to your monthly take-home, not the $833 you might expect. A lot of people get their first $50,000 paycheck and feel disappointed because it's not as much as they imagined. But here's what you need to understand. This is actually an opportunity. At this income level, you're high enough to build real wealth, but not so high that taxes completely eat your raises. You're in what I call the optimization zone. The key is understanding that your pre-tax income and your actual spending power are two very different numbers. And here's the move that separates people who build wealth from people who just earn more and spend more. When you reach $50,000, immediately adjust your 401k or retirement contributions. If you're not contributing at least enough to get your full employer match, you're literally leaving free money on the table. And those contributions reduce your taxable income, meaning you pay less in taxes while building wealth. The big change here is mental. You need to stop thinking about your $50,000 salary as $4,166 per month. Think of it as $3,200 to $3,400 in real spending power and budget based on that reality, not the fantasy number. The second major change, the lifestyle inflation trap. All right. Let's talk about the trap that catches about 80% of people who reach the $50,000 mark, lifestyle inflation. This is when your expenses rise to match or exceed your income increases. And at $50,000, the pressure to inflate your lifestyle is intense. Here's what typically happens. You get that promotion or new job that pushes you to $50,000. Suddenly, you feel like you've made it to a new level. Your coworkers at this income level live a certain way. They eat out regularly. They drive newer cars. They have nicer apartments. You start thinking, I earn $50,000 now. I should be able to afford these things too. So you upgrade. You move from your $800 apartment to a $1,200 apartment because you deserve it. You trade in your reliable older car for a $400 monthly car payment because you want something that matches your professional level. You start eating out 3 times a week instead of once because you work hard and shouldn't have to cook every night. Let me show you the math on this. Let's say before hitting $50,000, you were earning $40,000 and taking home about $2,800 monthly. Now you're earning $50,000 and taking home $3,400 monthly, a $600 increase. But if you increased rent by $400, added a $400 car payment, and started spending an extra $300 on dining out, you've actually decreased your financial position. You're earning more, but have less money at the end of the month than before. This is why people at $50,000 feel just as broke as people earning $40,000. The income increased, but so did the expenses, and often the expenses increased even more than the income. Here's the move that changes everything. When you reach $50,000, your lifestyle should barely change at all. I'm serious. Keep living like you earned $40,000 for at least one full year. Take that extra $600 per month and direct it entirely toward financial goals, paying off debt, building an emergency fund, maxing out your Roth IRA, or increasing retirement contributions. People who do this, who resist lifestyle inflation at the $50,000 mark, end up wealthy. People who inflate their lifestyle stay on the paycheck-to-paycheck treadmill, just at a slightly higher level. The choice is yours, but understand that this decision matters more than almost any other financial decision you'll make at this income level. The third major change, real wealth building becomes possible. Here's the good news. At $50,000, assuming you avoid the lifestyle inflation trap, you can actually start building real wealth. Not just surviving, not just getting by, but actually accumulating assets that will compound over time. Let's talk real numbers. If you're taking home $3,400 monthly and keeping your expenses at or below $2,800, which is totally doable if you're intentional, that's $600 per month available for wealth building. That's $7,200 annually. Here's what $7,200 per year of consistent investing can do. If you invest that amount starting at age 30 and get an average 7% annual return, which is below the stock market historical average, by age 65, you'd have approximately $850,000. Let that sink in. The difference between reaching $50,000 and keeping your $40,000 lifestyle versus inflating your lifestyle could literally be the difference between retiring with $850,000 or retiring with nothing. But most people at $50,000 aren't investing $600 monthly. They're spending it on lifestyle upgrades that provide minimal long-term value. The car that depreciates, the bigger apartment that doesn't build equity, the restaurants that become a vague memory. Here's what you should be doing instead. As soon as you reach $50,000, set up a wealth building system. Max out your employer 401k match. That's non-negotiable. If your employer matches 4%, contribute at least 4%. That's free money and an immediate 100% return on investment. Then open a Roth IRA and aim to max it out. For 2025, the contribution limit is $7,000 annually, which is about $583 per month. If you can't do the full amount immediately, start with whatever you can and increase it annually. The key insight here is that $50,000 is the income level where wealth building shifts from theoretical to practical. Below $50,000, most people are genuinely just trying to cover basics. At $50,000, if you're disciplined, you can cover basics and build real wealth simultaneously. The fourth major change, new financial options and obligations. When you reach $50,000, you'll notice that financial institutions suddenly treat you differently. You qualify for better credit cards with higher limits and better rewards. You can get approved for larger loans. You're in the income range where buying a home becomes realistic in many markets. This increased financial access is both an opportunity and a danger. On one hand, better credit cards with 2 to 5% cash back on purchases can actually help you build wealth if used responsibly. On the other hand, higher credit limits make it easier to accumulate debt that can destroy your financial progress. Here's what changes with credit at $50,000. You should be using credit cards strategically, paying them off in full every month, and earning rewards on purchases you'd make anyway. If you're not doing this, you're leaving money on the table. But the moment you carry a balance, credit cards flip from wealth-building tools to wealth-destroying traps. Home buying also enters the picture at $50,000, depending on your area. In many markets, $50,000 is enough income to qualify for a mortgage on a modest home, especially if you have a down payment saved. But here's the critical question: should you? Just because you can qualify for a mortgage doesn't mean you should buy a house. If you have significant debt, no emergency fund, or haven't been at your job long, buying a house at $50,000 could be financially risky. The general rule is that your total housing costs, mortgage, insurance, taxes, maintenance, shouldn't exceed 28% of your gross income. At $50,000, that's about $1,167 monthly. If you can find housing that meets your needs for less than that, great. If not, you might be better off renting and building wealth through investments until you earn more. Here's the move that matters. Use increased financial access strategically, not emotionally. Get better credit cards for rewards, but maintain the same spending discipline you had before. Consider homeownership when the numbers genuinely make sense, not just because you should be a homeowner at this income level. The fifth major change, the retirement timeline, starts mattering. When you're earning $30,000 or $40,000, retirement feels impossibly far away. You're just trying to survive today, and thinking about 30 years from now seems absurd. But at $50,000, retirement planning shifts from optional to essential. Here's why. At $50,000, you're earning enough to actually fund retirement. Every year you delay starting retirement contributions at this income level costs you massive amounts of compound growth. Let me show you the math. If you start investing $500 monthly for retirement at age 25 and earn 7% annually, by age 65, you'd have approximately $1.2 million. Start the same contribution at age 35, and you'd have about $550,000. Start at age 45, and you'd have about $240,000. That 10-year delay from 25 to 35, it costs you $650,000. The delay from 35 to 45, it costs another $310,000. At $50,000, you can afford to invest $500 monthly for retirement if you avoid lifestyle inflation. The question is whether you will. Most people at this income level tell themselves they'll start investing next year, or once I pay off this debt, or after I buy a house. But those goalposts keep moving, and suddenly you're 45 years old, earning $80,000. But you've missed 20 years of compound growth that you can never get back. Here's what you need to do the moment you reach $50,000. If you're not already contributing to retirement, set up automatic contributions immediately. Start with whatever amount you can, even if it's just $100 per month. The habit matters more than the amount initially. Then, commit to increasing your contribution by 1% of your income every 6 months, until you're saving at least 15% for retirement. The big change here is mindset. Retirement isn't some distant concern anymore. It's a current priority that requires action today. Look, reaching $50,000 feels like a milestone, and it is, but it's not the finish line so many people imagine it to be. It's actually a fork in the road. One path leads to lifestyle inflation, continued financial stress, and very little wealth accumulation despite a decent income. The other path leads to real wealth building, financial security, and eventually financial freedom. The people who take the second path understand these 5 changes. They plan for the tax reality, they resist lifestyle inflation, they prioritize wealth building, they use new financial access strategically, and they start retirement planning seriously. 6 months from now, if you reach or recently reach $50,000, you'll be on one of those 2 paths. Which one depends entirely on the choices you make right now. Are you going to inflate your lifestyle to match your new income? Or are you going to keep living modestly and direct that extra money toward building real wealth? I've seen both paths play out hundreds of times. The people who choose wealth building over lifestyle inflation at the $50,000 mark are the ones who end up financially free in their 40s and 50s. The people who inflate their lifestyle end up earning $80,000 or $100,000 years later, but still living paycheck to paycheck because they never broke the cycle. Your $50,000 doesn't define your financial future. What you do with it does. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated with more practical financial advice. The decisions you make at $50,000 set your financial trajectory for decades. Make them count. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.